Say what needs to be said. I understand I always speak how I feel and tell y'all what I see. I think independently and usually have an unpopular opinion. And we'll always catch a lot of heat for that. But it's cool. It's cool. That's why I'm here to tell y'all what needs to be said. Don't worry. I'm going to always tell y'all that. But let's get into this game. Colorado versus Washington State. What I think about it. First of all, it was cold. Y'all don't realize that was the problem when Colorado took on Washington State. It's a lot of young men on that team from the South, and that adjustment to the cold is real. Let me tell you, when I went to play for the New England Patriots, a straight Florida boy, it was one of the hardest adjustments I had to deal with. I didn't have no recollection or no experience with the cold at all, right? I didn't care. I don't care if it's 50 degrees, 60 degrees, 30 degrees, 20 degrees. That adjustment is hard. But for Colorado, it is important to end the season with some momentum heading into next season. Although it's only one game left and they will miss a bowl appearance, let's look at the Detroit Lions. Look how they finished last season. Finished very strong now, and surprisingly, they are a top 5 team this year in the NFL. They are looking good and hoping to win the Super Bowl, but we'll see how that goes. But they are one of the strong teams in the NFL. But let's be honest with ourselves, with no bias. Was this a successful season for Coach Prime and the Colorado Buffaloes? Talk to me. I want to know your thoughts and your opinion. Say what needs to be said. The season started off as good as Coach Prime could have imagined. 3-0 record to start the season and a top 25 college football ranking for the Colorado football team. You couldn't tell the world this new team was about to be a powerhouse in college football, right? Everybody was looking forward to Colorado Buffaloes and the season and the next game. Celebrities was coming out of the woodworks everywhere, and the momentum was good and the hype was there, right? But then their first loss came, against the University of Oregon, a top 25 college football team, and that game wasn't competitive at all, losing 42-6. The loss was bad, man. But I looked at it like it was a learning experience for Coach Prime, being that it was first year as a head coach and playing in a big college football conference. And Coach Prime's vision for the team, bringing in 70 new players, he needed a chance to understand the chemistry and the dynamic of this team and his playmakers and, who to build a team around and who to get the ball to and so on and so forth, right? A lot of kids are able to benefit from Coach Prime's popularity and the things that he created around this program, making millions or hundreds of thousands of dollars, right? This is Colorado's biggest recruiting tool, the popularity, the notoriety, and the flashy lifestyle that they able to live and be a part of when they join that team. So that's one of their biggest recruiting tools. I think that works for skilled players more than them Halls, the front seven, right? I think that works for them, right? But like any popular coach or popular program, the coach will be heavily scrutinized on pretty much everything they do or say. And this just comes with the territory being on a big stage. And the Coach Prime embraces that. We all see that. He embraces that dearly, and he's willing to deal with it, and he's going to talk his junk. That's what he do. But let's talk about Colorado football team in their previous seasons, and let's dig into that, right? The seasons wasn't as bad as we assumed. Last year, we all know they only won 1 game. But in 2021, they won 4 games and lost 8. In 2020, they won 4 games and lost 2. And it was a short season because of the vid and things like that. So, that was a winning record. And in 2019, they won 5 games and lost 7. So they had a little history. It wasn't, they didn't have winning records, but they were winning games. So it wasn't like they were just slapped out there, you know what I mean? But the game versus Washington State came down to coaching, straight coaching in my opinion. And an ex-offensive coordinator, Sean Lewis, was doing a good job, but unnecessary expectations caused him to be demoted. And now Pat Shermer has taken over, and the offense looks like it's heading back. I don't know what y'all see, but that's what it looked like to me. It looked like they are going back. Because this by far was the worst decision by Coach Prime, in my opinion, making this switch, this transition from offensive coordinator. Because there's no other way to put it that Pat and his offense looked horrible. That was a horrible display of offense. They looked out of sync. They looked flat. And Shedeur didn't look himself in this game. He looked like he was just out of sync with everybody. And I have to say that comes down to coaching, right? But these are the games that Colorado are supposed to win versus Washington State. Washington State executed in all phases of the game, offense, defense, and special teams, just as Coach Prime had expressed and hoped his team could put together a complete game, right? Offense, defense, and special teams. He wasn't able to get that execution from his team, but Washington, I mean, they executed. They put on a clinic, running kicks back and, offense executing, defense running around. It looked good. You got to give the credit when the credit is due. But when you lose a game, everything is bad. And that's the way it is. That's the way it's always going to be. But I like what I'm seeing from Coach Prime. He is getting better with his message after a frustrating loss and not letting his frustration get to him when he's on the podium. Because this is important for the dignity of the team and how the players view one another and so on and so forth, right? Being in the locker room, looking at each other. You don't want to look down on a player because of something you heard, right? When I played for Coach Reed, Andy Reid, and we lost, he rarely ever took his frustration out on us or on the podium. He is such a positive coach and does his best to avoid any negativity. He wants to stay positive and keep that positive energy flowing through an app, right? But every coach has a different personality. I understand that, and there are always different ways to be effective as a coach and as a leader of men. You know what I mean? But I honestly feel, this is my true feeling, I honestly feel the more you say as a coach, more distractions will occur. I think that is very easy to create distractions by just talking and creating waves of news that's unnecessary. Because a lot of distractions are created from the podium by Coach Prime, and that's my opinion, you know what I mean? But I love that he is being transparent, but I also feel he can tone it down a little when addressing the team and the players in the future. This is a learning experience. Like I said, he's getting better at addressing everything, taking the podium. Like, this was a horrible loss, and he had a very good message, right? I'd say that the message Coach Prime preached was a very good message after the loss against Washington State. And I think it was very, very uplifting compared to his previous speeches, right? This is what he had to say.
You have nothing, not one thing to hang your head down on. You guys fought, you're resilient, you didn't give up, you could have quit, you could have tapped out. I was looking amongst the bench and I was going up and down, trying to see who was tapping out, trying to see who lost focus. And I'm so darn proud of y'all, man. Now you understand what we are. You understand what could have and should have would have done if we would have played the first half like we played the second. One play here and there. Keeping contained, doing your assignment, keeping the quarterback in the pocket, making the plays, making the blocks, getting that extra yard. You understand what could have happened. So understand that taste in your mouth and you don't want it again. Because I know we have something special here.
And he was proud of the boys coming back in the second half. But that first half was, it is what it is. But that message right there in itself is a different message, and it gives the team hope, and it gives them something to look forward to, because you ended on a bad note and you just lost, and it's a new team, and players are, like you said, trying to find their identity. That message and the power of the tongue can go a long way, right? Because I can easily be on here trying to explain something negative that Coach Prime said that was negative in my opinion, but he didn't give us the chance for that. You know what I mean? That's a good job by Coach Prime. Protect them kids at all times. So I salute Coach Prime, and what they did out there. Obviously, he didn't get results they wanted, but he was proud of them where they were resilient in the second half. So, salute the Coach Prime and the Colorado Buffaloes. Say what needs to be said.